Wild camping usually begins somewhere incredibly dangerous. The back garden. You pitch your very first little green dome tent, proudly hammering every peg into perfectly soft grass, while your house sits approximately 8 meters away. You spend the evening pretending you're deep in the wilderness, despite knowing the kitchen is just through the patio door. Every tiny sound outside becomes a bear. Every gust of wind feels like a hurricane. Eventually, you give up at 2 in the morning and sneak back inside to sleep in your own bed. But the camping bug has already bitten. Soon, you're wandering around outdoor shops looking for just the essentials. Somehow, the essentials include a backpack bigger than your torso, waterproof trousers that could survive a monsoon, a sleeping bag designed for Antarctica, a titanium mug, a tiny camping stove, a head torch bright enough to guide aircraft, and a portable chair that folds down smaller than a sandwich. You entered the shop for one tent. You leave looking ready to cross the Himalayas. Eventually, it's time for the real thing. You hike for hours carrying what feels suspiciously like an entire house on your back. Every uphill section makes you question every life decision that led to this moment. Halfway through the walk, you're already mentally deciding which piece of equipment you're willing to abandon first. Finding the perfect campsite suddenly becomes an impossible mission. This patch is too rocky. That one slopes downhill. That tree looks like it might drop a branch. There's probably too much wind here. Eventually, after another hour of searching, you settle only 100 meters from where you first stopped. As the sun disappears, something magical happens. The forest becomes completely silent for about 10 seconds. Then every single twig within a mile decides to snap at exactly the same time. A tiny hedgehog somehow sounds like a charging rhinoceros. An owl becomes what is obviously a mythical woodland creature. You lie inside your little green tent, absolutely convinced something enormous is circling outside, only to unzip the door in the morning and discover a curious cat investigating your backpack. Then comes the weather. Forecast, dry. Reality, 4 seasons before breakfast. You wake to sunshine, eat lunch in heavy rain, pack away during hailstones, and finish hiking beneath a perfect rainbow. Somehow, every item of clothing becomes either slightly damp or completely soaked, despite owning enough waterproof equipment to survive the North Pole. Then, without warning, everything clicks. You learn exactly how to pack your backpack. You can pitch your little green tent in minutes. You know where to find water, how to cook a surprisingly good meal on a tiny stove, and how to stay warm without wearing every item of clothing you own. Instead of fighting nature, you begin working with it. Soon, your weekends look completely different. While everyone else is sleeping in, you're watching the sunrise above mist-covered mountains with a hot coffee in your titanium mug. Fresh air becomes addictive. Your phone stays buried deep inside your backpack because the view in front of you is infinitely more interesting than anything happening on a screen. Friends start asking what it's like sleeping in the middle of nowhere, and eventually you realize you've become one of those campers, the kind who happily walks 20 kilometers carrying everything on their back, gets excited about finding the perfect flat patch of grass, and genuinely believes waking up with birdsong is better than any luxury hotel. Looking back, it's funny that you once thought wild camping was about escaping civilization. It wasn't. It was about finding a little more of yourself. Different campsite, same main character.